It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
I went back, and as I always do this off season, I read some John Wooden, and one of the early things was that everything he says is so poignant. It's like you read his book and you highlight everything, and one of them was, don't lose sleep worrying about your competition, let them lose sleep worrying about you. Funny story, I was sharing that with Kyle right about when Myles Garrett joined the Rams, and he was going, man, that's really cool. And as we were speaking, that came out, and Kyle said, you know what, F John Wooden. So.
Kyle Shanahan said, you know what, John Wooden? No, and no. What's next? Bleep Vince Scully? You don't stand for the flag being raised anymore? There's certain things you don't do. And one of those is not you bleep John Wooden. No. That is John Lynch. What's his GM of the San Francisco 49ers?
Correct.
Yeah. That Kyle Shanahan story has a lot of layers to it. We'll see how that develops. And guys saying ESPN holding the story. That's not journalism. Journalism as we knew it. As the journalism I knew. I've got no problem saying it. And I grew up in the biz. 23 years. Daily newspapers, ink stained and all that stuff. Doesn't exist anymore. Nope. It doesn't. And that's a shame. Doesn't mean it's completely eliminated, but it doesn't exist in the manner that it did when I was doing it. And I'm an old timer now. Oh, man, I'll tell you. Tampa Bay Buccaneers Pro Bowl defensive tackle Vita Vea. Now, he went to Washington State, didn't he?
Washington, I believe.
Washington?
Yeah.
Okay. He's requested a trade after the talks on a contract extension have stalled and reportedly have expressed some desire to return to his hometown in California. NorCal.
He grew up in the Bay Area. Apparently went to high school 6 miles from where the Niners play.
Does he have injury issues? Because if you grew up where the Niners play, they got that power plant there or something, right?
Yeah, they'll be exacerbated by the power surges, apparently.
I've covered 3 games in that stadium. I think that explains it.
All the weirdness?
Yeah, for me. Yeah. The Utes played the bowl game there, and then 2 times they played the Pac-12 title game there. Went 0 for 2. They're 0 for 2 in Northern California and 2 for 2 in Las Vegas. And they'll never play a Pac-12 title game again. Not that they won't be good enough. Doesn't seem like they'll be that. And I agree with what Kyle Shanahan said. DJ always says that. Well, how are they going to match up with them? Well, screw that. How are they going to match up with us? You have to have the aggressive mindset. I agree on that one. And this is a bizarre story. Chiefs OC Eric Bieniemy. His wife was shot by their son, allegedly, Sunday evening, and she's in stable condition. Elijah Bieniemy has been charged with 3 felony counts in the incident. That's just awful, man. Horrible news. Obviously, EB, as they call him in KC, is going to be away from the team. Indiana Colts QB, Indianapolis, I guess I should say, not Indiana. Daniel Jones, he's declared himself 100% healthy. That's great after he comes off a torn Achilles. He'd been fully cleared to participate in the training camp. And he's the Colts' starting quarterback. Yeah, way to go. That's great news. Get yourself healthy, ready to go. 3-time Pro Bowler safety linebacker Jamal Adams. He's going to join the Vikings for his 10th season. He had been playing linebacker the last few seasons, playing 448 snaps there for Las Vegas. Daniel Jones, can he be one of those quarterbacks that it just took a while and you needed a team or two to go through? Now, obviously, he's on his second one. He was with the Giants as a high pick. And, that they didn't win. Let him go. And he goes over to the Colts in Indianapolis. And he was rocking. Beat out, what's that Florida kid's name? Richardson?
Anthony Richardson, yeah.
Yeah, who I saw play in person when the Utes went down there and thought he was a great athlete, but didn't believe in him as a quarterback. And I think I may have got one right for a change. And DJ Daniel Jones taken off. We saw that. Go ahead.
It's the storyline with like Sam Darnold, for
That's
example.
where I was going.
Yeah, like I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And that, if you want to bring it closer to home, Jay Drew recently interviewed Zach Wilson, and Zach's kind of looking for that same opportunity.
Did you read my mind?
Sorry.
Did you read my mind?
I've worked with you for long enough.
That's where I was going, yeah. Zach did some autograph signing or something, and Jay must have gone down there in Utah County, and he did, and I read the story posted yesterday, I believe, and they're going to have a couple of more stories that he's going to do there. And yeah, I don't know if that can happen for Zach. I'd love to see it. A local kid do well. Obviously, the Jets, 3 years, it was bad, batter, and baddest. And so now he's on his what? He went to Broncos, Miami. What is this, 15?
Denver, yeah, this is his fifth team.
Yeah, and he's got to compete for the backup job there with our guy, Kellen Moore, as the head coach.
That'll be him and Spencer Rattler competing to back up Shuck.
Shuck, yeah. Kid, two Phoenix kids, Rattler and Shuck there. And obviously Zach from over here in our area. We'll see what happens. I mean, you got to make the team first. It's a bizarre situation. John Beck has talked about that, going to situations that aren't good, and you get yourself in there. He was with Miami when Miami stunk, and I don't know if Zach has lost confidence and whatever it might be, and questions how good he can be. But he's still in the league right now, and they've got another quarterback there. I don't remember his name. Jay had it in the story. You can go look at it at Deseret News as far as that goes. So he'll have to make the team. I think he would be able to make it. We'll see how that plays out. But, he hasn't played a lot. But you never know with these quarterbacks. I was thinking about this the other day. The one that really has baffled my mind the most in recent years, who didn't really make it, big-time college quarterback. Yak is running through big-time college quarterbacks who didn't really make it.
I'm curious, who do you got?
Come on, I can't give it up that easily. You're an NFL savant. Big-time college quarterback. Nobody would disagree on that. Nobody. He was big-time. I saw him play. I thought, wow, this kid is really, really something. And then it doesn't happen at the level that I anticipated. He's still bouncing around the league.
So he's still playing.
I think he is, yeah.
You got me stumped.
In fact, I'm virtually certain he is with Washington.
Oh,
Mariota.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota. Yeah, he's the backup to Jaden Daniels. And you're right. A lot of people thought he was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Right.
Yeah.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
And he has shown
Oregon.
Flashes during his NFL career, but it's never been consistent.
No.
Right.
And he's not considered a starter. Now, he's still in the league. He's making money, and that's great. And still get to play a kid's game and make a ton of money. That's awesome. But when I saw him play at Oregon, I thought, wow, he's really going to be something. And Oregon's one of these teams, it reminds me of the U of A basketball. They got a slew of quarterbacks who look good, but then they get in the NBA, and they can hang out, be around on teams' rosters, but none of them have been really big time. And Herbert now, maybe he will break that. We shall see. And Moore, the kid they got now, a kid out of Michigan who transferred into there played for Chip Kelly down in Westwood, and now he's projected to be a high pick. We shall see. But I thought Moore. Mariota. I thought he was going to be a big-time quarterback, so I missed on that one. I may have gotten Richardson right, but I missed on that one. So we'll see if Zach can get an opportunity to play. You can be on the roster, but Darnold didn't play for a little bit, and now he won the Super Bowl last year. So there's still hope for these guys, and we'll see if Daniel Jones can follow it up with an excellent season on the heels of what he did last year. All right, let's move on to college football.
Hashtag college football.
Here we go, man. North Carolina placing GM Mike Lombardi on paid administrative leave after an HR complaint was filed against him. And the College Sports Commission, the old CSC, indicated they were looking into NIL issues at UNC. So what does that mean?
So the CSC is that governing body that was created to monitor NIL.
So they're giving him NIL when they shouldn't?
Well, or they've been
shady,
circumventing how the CSC wants it to be reported.
Go.
Yeah, so
circumvention of the rules.
Seems like that's been a topic in another sport we'll get to in a moment.
And they're dealing with money as far as that goes. And then Michigan AD Ward Manuel received a lump sum of $7.14 million as part of his separation agreement with the university. He'll have his final 3 years of his contract brought out, and he will resign at the end of this calendar season, or year, I should say, which is December 31st, obviously. So Big Ten is having their media days these next 3 days.
Correct. And did you see the big news for Ohio State? Just barely.
Yes, what do they do? They got a big contract.
They got jersey patch stuff. BYU did the thing with Entrada here locally. Well, they have signed with Chase and JP Morgan, and reportedly the Ohio State Buckeyes are going to make a cool $15 million annually to put a Chase banking logo on their uniform.
Yeah, so they're going national, and we'll discuss this. I was listening to some stuff driving in this morning, the valuations of college football programs. And what does that mean? Are there a few that are haves and a lot that are have-nots? And what does it mean for the Big 12? We'll get to that at the bottom of the hour. I was driving home yesterday after the show, flicking around on the radio, and I came across an interview with Kyle Whittingham. Sat down, and that Rich Eisen dude, I think he's a Michigan fan.
Eisen, I think, went to Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
Like Schefter, I think they're both.
Yeah, you could tell. I mean, he basically said it. I don't have a problem with that. But it just, you never ask Kyle a question that centers around, were you surprised? Did anything surprise you? Because he, every time, no matter what, will answer no. I knew it was coming. I was ready for it, blah, blah, blah. It's just funny to listen to him talk. He will never change in that way. You know, did it take you long to get into Michigan? A couple of months, and I'm ready to go. I've adapted. Oh, what's it going to be like in the big house when you're on the headset and the kids are out there playing? Well, I've already done it. I did it during spring ball. Now, he wasn't that obstinate.
Yeah, but
he knows how to play the media game.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, but don't act like you're going to ask Kyle. You can ask him about his defense, his offense, what have you. We'll see about Jay Hill. He may be coming on tomorrow. Defensive coordinator for Michigan as they'll get going here next week. But this is funny. Anything surprise you? But no surprises. He'll always say that. All right, let's move on to the NBA.
Hashtag NBA.
This might be the best team ever he's been on. Construct better than the Miami Heat team.
This has the most talent, I think.
Most talented. That's what I meant. That
is the most talented team he's ever been on.
It's not even close.
I'm listening.
1 through 5. If you look at their numbers, it's crazy.
And then you still have Anthony Simons. You still have Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That team is loaded.
This might be the best team ever.
Charlie Villanueva. Remember him? He's saying that about LeBron. He said, it's not even close, and then he said this might be his best team ever. Well, you just told me it's not even close, then you tell me it maybe. So he formally signed with the Sixers, say he's going to live in New York and helicopter down. And some people took that as a slight to Philly. We know Kobe did that, lived in Newport and helicoptered his way to whatever they're calling the downtown arena now.
Crypto.com arena.
Yeah, so, I mean, the traffic is brutal, both sides. So, yeah, I get that. It's not that far away. I mean, it's almost about, I think Newport would probably be a little closer than downtown LA, than depending on where he lives in New York, to Philly. World 23. And then I saw, well, they're going to make him the point guard. Yeah, I said that when they point guard discussions with Chris Paul and other guys, who was the best. I would always take LeBron. I would took him every time.
He's an elite passer.
Yeah, and he can handle the ball, obviously. That was his big thing, is that, his size and strength and all, and be able to handle the ball like he did. Yeah, I think that's a great position for him, because you got a bunch of shooters, and he's not a shooter. in the manner of the other guys are. That just wasn't his game or isn't his game. He can make shots, obviously, but he's a leading scorer all the time. But it's about power and taking to the basket. And to have him, I wonder if it'll be like it was way back when Wilt Chamberlain did all that scoring, and then you look at his stats at the end with the Lakers, and he transformed his game. He wasn't a big-time scorer then. He was doing other aspects of the game. And so I wonder if we'll see that with LeBron, if he will only average maybe a career low, but he is doing a lot of other things to help his team win, and ultimately that's all that matters. Stats. Stats bore me. How do you help your team win? That's what excites me. That's what I'm about. What do you do to bring value to your team winning? Not how many stats you can pile up. Certainly in basketball, stats are boring. And those are for guys who try to act like they're smarter. And they are smarter than I am. I'm not interested in the stats. I'm interested in winning. What can you do to help your team win? All right, let's go to MLB.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Cedon swings and skies one into left field. Back on the warning track. Back at the wall. It is off the top of the wall and gone! Grand slam, Cedon!
Swing and a drive deep to left field. Forget it. A grand slam into the lower left field stance. Sorry, making a 3-run home run for Francisco Lindor, his second home run of the game.
Conine with a line shot into right for a base hit. Bird comes in to score, and this skid is snapped. Griffin Conine with a looper right over the jumping glove of the second baseman Bryson Stott.
Ah, man, the Marlins. What, they had lost 12 in a row?
Correct.
They beat the Phillies 8-7 with a walk-off. Yeah, how about that? The Yankees continue to battle injuries. Cody Bellinger, who made the All-Star, I think he was MVP of the All-Star game for that matter. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. He's got a hamstring strain. They're obviously already missing Aaron Judge. Oh, no. That's a big-time blow there as far as that goes when you already got your best player out. And we'll see. They're hanging on. They're 2.5 behind Tampa Bay in the American League East, but obviously they've got a wild card berth they can get there. We'll see when and if those guys return. 4 to 6, that would put our guy Bellinger back about September 1st, right around there. Hard to believe that that's where we're at, but that is where we're at. 4 to 6 weeks will bring you into September at that point. Okay, and then, how about this one? Shohei Ohtani's former interpreter, Epe Mizuhara, told a reporter, I think ESPN, LA Dodgers star had agreed to cover his massive gambling debt reverse course less than 24 hours later, according to no released audio. What does that mean? Now, he recanted much of what he told the ESPN reporter in a second interview, admitting he had lied about Ohtani being willing to help. And I guess they're going to be doing a big 2-part deep dive.
Oh, it's like 6 parts, apparently.
6 parts? Yeah. Oh, I shorted them 4 parts. You never want to be shorted 4 parts. A deep dive. I love that expression. That means, you got to be interested in that. Then I saw this on the Bees. They're going to open their series in Sugar Land tonight against the Space Cowboys. You can listen to the call at 6:05 with Tony Parks, 6 p.m. with the pregame, 12:80 a.m. And I saw where one of the baseball national guys is saying that there are owners who expect how many games will be played next year? That would be friggin' 0.
Yeah, they think a full season lockout.
That is so sad, so bad. But the lockout will come because they want the salary cap. Players don't want the salary cap. And they're going to do battle over that and potentially miss a season. Oh, boy. They've done that from time to time, missed the 94 World Series, and it took steroids with the home run thing to bring it back between McGuire and Sosa 4 years later. We'll see what harm it does. Yeah, I think it'll do harm. It's a shame. Baseball, I went on a baseball trip this past week to both Chicago's and then the Minnesota, and the places were rocking. All 3 of them had great attendance. Wrigley, what I paid for Wrigley tickets, I could have got 10 tickets apiece for the White Sox and the Twins games. Wrigley's a little more expensive. That's the way it goes. All right, well, we'll have to unfortunately follow that story once we get into December and into February when spring training comes ahead. But that's a while from now, and I wouldn't expect to happen. It's just not will there be damage done, it's how much damage will be done. What is Trending is brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, we're going to talk some college football today. We got our KSL insiders. Mitch Harper for BYU is going to be joining us at 8 o'clock, and we're going to spend the whole hour talking about BYU, and then we'll follow it up at 9 o'clock with Steve Bartle talking about the Utes. He's our Utah insider for KSL Sports. And money matters. Jock just told us about Ohio State. What was that, Chase Bank? Is that what you said?
Yeah, JP Morgan Chase Bank.
Yeah, and what is your football team worth, and what does it mean? We'll get to that next. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome to This is Chase Scott and Ben Anderson.
I am back to where I was before this whole summer league started.
Hall of Famer bust?
Are we sure any rookie is starting?
Oh, no. We should not be.
No.
I don't think that ever changed, though.
No, I'm totally with you. I started off with, I don't think he's going to start. I said I wouldn't be shocked if Svi Mikhailiuk starts. Maybe it's Ace, but the Jazz are trying to win games next year. Ace wasn't particularly good when he was on the floor in summer league either. I know he had back injuries, but is Ace ready to help you get to the playoffs as a starting shooting guard in the NBA? Well, the truth is probably not, and I think Darren is showing that right now, probably not. He's certainly not the best option you have. And if you are worried about the game of politics out there of, well, why is Ace coming off the bench for Darren if Darren was good but not great in summer league and Ace was good but not great during an entire regular season, maybe the answer is neither of them starts. That's totally fine.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Win Tickets Wednesday. That's tomorrow, obviously. Do not miss your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, you can win tickets to see the Black Crows at Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. That's coming up on August 13th. Listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. Okay. Now, did that just come out this morning about the Chase Bank thing, Yak?
Yeah, it broke this morning. Yep. And you and I both know this. This does not okay, what I'm trying to say. It does not happen if Big Ten Media Days is not, happening, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. Big Ten,
not a coincidence.
Big Ten
That's the term.
Media Days start officially today. The coaches were in town. It's in Chicago. They had played some golf in the afternoon, as I understand it. And then they'll do the stuff that we did 2 weeks ago. And the Big Ten goes last. I think that's symbolic in terms of the order. It goes Big 12, ACC, SEC, Big Ten. That's the way they do that. And because practices, I know, like Weber, I think if you play August 29th or that weekend before.
Week 0.
Yeah, that you can start practice this week.
Yeah, the Wildcats are having their first practice today.
Yeah, they sent that out. And Eric Kerr's team getting ready to go. We'll see how they do. Wish them well in the Big Sky. So, yeah, it's a chance for the Big Ten to strut its stuff that we are the most important, most valued, best conference. And they're having a measuring contest between the SEC and the Big Ten there. And then I saw something with Nick Saban saying, it doesn't matter how many national titles you win, so you just keep moving the goalposts because they haven't won one in 3 years. Because I think we've got 3 Big Ten teams, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio State winning the last 3. So all of a sudden now that doesn't matter. So who is the top dog? Well, those two have separated. And there was a thing that came out last week, New York Times, which I think that's connected to the Athletic. And so they've got a thing, part of their Ramblings and Tears series, evaluation across the sports about key players, front offices, teams, franchise, and much more. And how much would it take to buy your favorite college football program? Did you see, who was it, Josh Pastner? Got himself in trouble in Vegas.
This is what this all stemmed from. He said, the teams want to bring an NBA team here. Why don't you just come buy the UNLV men's basketball team?
And then he had to walk it back a little bit.
I didn't actually mean to buy it.
Yeah. Well, bring on the money. So, no surprise here. The number one, if the teams were for sale, the number one program at a projected price of $2.38 billion. That is more than Smith paid for the Jazz, isn't it?
Yes.
That would be the Texas Longhorns. It says here they routinely lead the country in revenue, and we're the only team to top $200 million in the most recent financial reports. No program came within $25 million of Texas in either of the past 2 years. Now, they haven't won a national title since 2005, but they did make the college football playoffs each of the past 2 seasons, and they are ranked, of course, among the title contenders this year. Go back and listen to what Riley Jensen said yesterday. He'll be on the show tomorrow. DJ's off this week, and Riley will be sitting in the rest of the week. He can't make it today. And he doesn't believe Sarkisian has what it takes to lead a team all the way. He was talking about not being authentic enough. And he's a mental performance coach and can deal with all that stuff to see what that means. As far as that goes, you can get that on where you listen to your podcast. So that's obviously an SEC team, right? Number 2, they have Georgia, another SEC team, at $1.92 billion. They've only had 5 losing seasons in the past 50 years. So we'll see. And then number 3, the aforementioned Ohio State Buckeyes. And they're going to get $15 million to wear a bank patch. And what, by way of comparison, the Monster drinks for the Big 12 is, because it's a conference-wide, I think it's $1.2 million.
It was $10 million across the league. No, sorry, $20 million across the league. Yeah. But you're right. It comes out to about $1.2 million per program, per team.
And Ohio State's going to get $15 million alone.
Correct.
And I don't know what the Big Ten is going to do, because you can do both. There's 2 shoulders, obviously. And so the Cougars will wear the Monster thing and then this Entrada startup thing down in Utah County. How much are they going to pay? So it's logical to conclude that it's going to be nowhere near $15 million.
Correct, yeah. Because this deal that Ohio State just signed is considered the top end of all these deals so far.
And so they're the first Big Ten team. Notre Dame at 4, Michigan at 5, Alabama. These are all in the billions, $1.7 billion for Alabama, $1.49 billion for Oklahoma, another SEC team. USC at 1.4, that's another Big Ten. Tennessee at number 9, 1.3. And Texas, Notre Dame, and Michigan are the only programs that reported. This came out last week. So when I say in the last fiscal year, it's literally the last fiscal year. Texas, Notre Dame, and Michigan are the only programs that reported more football revenue than Tennessee. So you got that going. And then LSU round out the top 10 at $1.2 billion. Who do you think is the top Big 12 team that they have on their list? As far as if they were for sale, you can argue that with the private equity, to an extent, they are for sale.
Well, that answers that question. That would be the University of Utah.
They do have them at 29th at $539 million. As I look down this list, 29th is the highest of the Big 12. Average football revenue, $77 million. Below teams like South Carolina, Minnesota, North Carolina, teams that clearly Utah can compete with and compete with well. Number 23, who they play in week 2, is Arkansas at $6.46 million. Average football revenue, $8.8 million. So Utah being there at 29, TCU at 30. So those are your top 2. And then they've got the next one would be Texas Tech at 33. Average football revenue, I think they average it over like 3 years, $67.7 million. And then looking down the list. So coming in at 4th in the Big 12 would be the Sun Devils at 40. Average football revenue of $53.1 million. Where's BYU? Everyone's asking that right now, in your car, whatever you're doing. They got Colorado at 47, Kansas State at 49, still no BYU. And then finally, coming in at 50th place at $43.7 million is BYU. Doesn't that seem low?
It does, but if you look at that overall valuation, it shows them projecting having gone up well over $100 million in terms of their overall value, because they're now $500 million. They're $500 million. So you're quibbling, because Utah's at 539, right? Is that what
Is that what it said?
I believe so. So $40 million in the grand scheme of this, it's relative pennies. I know that sounds crazy to say about millions of dollars.
What are you, DJ? $539 million and average football revenue of 77.
Yeah, so the revenue side of it is the really strong one there. That Utah's got to obviously maintain that. They got to continue to generate that revenue, and the Otro Capital Partners deal should help them do that. The thing for BYU is I think BYU, when they came into the Power 4 PK, they're still a relative newcomer to this level. So I think they've jumped up pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's to be considered for sure.
But the brand...
They didn't even get full revenue, and the Utes did.
And BYU's finally getting full revenue this year coming in. So we'll see.
It should be okay.
I'm interested to see where this goes 2, 3, 4 years down the line and see where those projections end up.
Yeah, and they could be much higher, BYU, but is it you have the best house in a lousy neighborhood? Is that what you're looking at?
Well, there's an argument to be had.
Yeah, and is it location? Would you rather have the best house in a bad neighborhood or the worst house in a good neighborhood? Now, financially speaking, I don't think there's any question that you want to have the worst house in a best neighborhood, because that best neighborhood is going to rise up your value. There's just no doubt about it. When I first moved here in Utah, we bought a house. We were wanting to get a house before because the Tribune was paying for my moving expenses, and we didn't want them to move us into an apartment and have to use storage and then have to pay for the moving ourselves. So we came up here on a weekend, and we looked at about 20 houses. Your eyes are blurry at that point. And I found one. It was not even close to the best house, but it was right next door. It was kind of on a curve of a street, and mine was just a little tract home, 1,600 square feet. And right next door, the road changed, and it curved, and literally changed the name of the road. And the name of the road was far more prestigious than my address, even though it was literally right next door. The side of their house faced our backyard, and then that street, which then had sweeping views of the valley because it was on a cliff. We didn't have it, but the next door neighbors did, and so forth. And then it was a bunch of custom homes that were worth way more. And 4 years later, we put our house up for sale. Boom, first freaking day. And we're in a panic mode because we had nowhere to go.
Hold on, it's supposed to sell this quickly. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And so, fortunately, that it was an investor. Investors from Southern California bought the house, so we didn't have anywhere to go, and they just rented us back to us So we owned the house, then we rented it back for about 6 months before we found a place to stay. But the point being, it was right next to some big-time custom homes. It was a small home, and we kept it up and tried to do the best we could. But the neighbors to our right, to the north, man, the prices went up and up and up, boom. So the thing that I would be concerned about is where are we in 3, 4, 5 years for the Big 12? How much more are they going to fall behind financially?
And that's the other side of this, PK. You probably saw yesterday that Protect College Sports Act, or say whatever they're calling that act of Congress that's in the Senate right now. They're now proposing the cap hit for programs, if as currently constructed this law goes through, would allow athletic departments, universities to pay somewhere in the realm of $50 million to their athletes. We are currently at 20.
Yeah.
And they want to push it to 50. And $50 million, the vast majority of G6 programs, their athletic budgets are at that number. So how many of those programs, Big 12, ACC, can step up and go to that number, whereas I think more of the SEC and Big Ten schools would be capable of that because they're generating that much more revenue coming in from TV deals and the like.
Well, at these pre-Big Ten meetings yesterday, they officially get started today, Kyle Whittingham was talking about that, and I'll tell you what he said as far as NIL immediately, like now, what his thoughts are. I'll relay that to you next. Stay with us, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCombe.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, as he kicked off and the SEC kicked off their football media day, said that he is not happy whatsoever with what's going on in terms of the Protect College Sports Act. He has had conversations. The conversations about them tearing away from the rest of college athletics is real.
College football, it's ironic that they're against the Save College Football Act. They don't want to be governed. I mean, that's what I keep hearing. The SEC, the Big Ten, they're the ones that keep dragging their feet. Everybody else wants to get this done, but because they feel like they are better than everybody else, they should get a better deal.
I really can't stand this guy. There are certain people out there that are just hell-bent on wrecking things that don't need to be wrecked.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back in. We're going college football heavy today. At the top of the hour, Mitch Harper, our KSL insider for BYU, will be with us for the entire 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk about the Cougars. And then 9 o'clock, we'll give equal time to the Utes. Steve Bartle, who does the same thing for KSL Sports. We'll be talking about the Utes for that hour as we look forward to college football. Camps get underway next week for them. We already talked about Weber State beginning their camp now. As they get ready, they open up, the 29th, somewhere in there, against Northern Colorado. Ed Lamb will have 2 locals being head coaches for both of those programs. Obviously, Ed Lamb coached at Southern Utah and BYU under Kalani Sitake. And we know what Eric Hare did for Jordan and Corner Canyon. And so we'll be following those programs. That is 1 month from tomorrow, something like that. Yeah, man. Football is right around the corner. And Big Ten having their media days. So I was listening to Kyle. He was doing an interview yesterday. And he was talking about next year, NIL, NIL, some rosters will be $50 million. $50 million, man. Are these teams not those? And we know who they are, so we can suspect the teams, right? Usual suspects. Is it going to be like the Dodgers? Is that what we're going to have? Is it just going to be the ones who pay the most money? And $50 million. Who was it, that Seton kid who was at Colorado and then went to LSU?
Jordan Seton, yeah.
Yeah, and he came out, was it last week? $2 million is underpaid.
Yeah.
And then there was another video of him with his girlfriend with all these expensive handbags. You're sort of wasting your money on that. All these kids get all this money, and plus they got so many people hanging on. I can remember Matt Harpring told me when he made the NBA, one of his teammates called him up from college at Georgia Tech and asked him if he could buy him a car. Could he get him a car? Because he needed a car. And that's a ex-teammate. So you're going to have all these kids coming at you with so much money that you have and so many angles and $50 million. At what point, and this has been an ongoing discussion, it's nothing new really, at what point do we say enough is enough? At what point do you say enough is enough? Is there anybody out there, let us know, anybody out there who has said, I am done with college football because of the NIL? I like to think that I would say it. Now, I have a job, so that requires me to be into it, and it requires us to be into it. Even if I was frustrated and didn't want it and said, enough, I've had enough, I can't do it because I have to watch these teams play and listen to what their coaches and players say and then make evaluations on that. So it's impossible for me to say I'm out. But is anybody really out? Are you really out? I have my doubts. You can say you're out. You can say you're dismayed by it or bothered by it. But have you really checked out? What checking out means you don't pay attention at all. You don't care at all. You got nothing going on.
I think we spend all offseason belly aching about the woes of the sport, PK. Yeah. But once a month from now, when
right,
as they say, toe meets leather, we're all right back in.
Right, we are. But I'm wondering the fans.
I think we are because it's required.
It's work.
It's our job.
Great job.
But I'm telling you, I think the vast majority of college football fans,
they're going to still stay.
They're going to stick around.
I agree with you.
It's going to drag you right back in. Sorry.
I agree. I told a story. DJ would remember it. Longtime Tribune writer, editor, Dick Rosetta. He's retired. Been retired for a number of years now. I understand he's having some health troubles. Our thoughts go out to him. I always enjoyed working with him. And so I go down. He retired. And I go down. I must have been BYU. They're playing, I think it was a Thursday night game in San Diego. So I get down there Wednesday around noonish, and first thing I do was head over to Mission Beach, and I'm going to rent a boogie board and run out and try to ride some waves, right? One of my favorite activities. And there's that roller coaster there in Mission Beach. Many of you have been there. You know where I'm talking about there. There's a park across the street, and they have some rentals right there. So I get the board, and I go around the corner, and there's the Strand there. The sidewalk, and right there I run into Rosie, and he says to me, "What are you doing here? It's on a Wednesday. What's going on? Why are you here in the middle of the week on a Wednesday in September, October, maybe early October?" And the point I'm making is he'd retired, and he had no idea that BYU was playing the next night against the Aztecs over there at the Padres ballpark, and the Chargers played there. They got the new stadium now. And so he had checked out, but he'd retired, and he'd been in the business for many, many years, 40-plus years, I'm sure. And then one time, I think DJ was telling me he asked another local columnist who'd retired to come on his television show and talk about the Jazz, and he said, DJ, I have no idea. I haven't watched one game. So I'm not capable of talking about them anymore because I don't pay attention. Those guys checked out. But and they were in the business for many years, so I can understand that. But will the average fan, will this drive you away? $50 million for a roster, $50 freaking million to just comprise a roster. How in the world are you supposed to compete with that? And I had BYU coaches tell me last year that Texas Tech's defensive line together was their entire NIL. Their entire NIL for their team. And they got hammered 63-14, was it? Something like that in the two games. Texas Tech what it paid for? And then did you not take a little delight? I know you're supposed to root for the conference, but did you not take a little delight when they went and Oregon snuffed them? Didn't score a point? Did that drive a little satisfaction to you? I bet it did.
Here's the deal with college football. It is tribal as anything in sports, and yeah, we spend months and months about it's ruining the sport, but as soon as the games are on, we're all tuned in and we're all rooting on our team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And at least in the conference season, I guess you got to put Texas Tech aside. Are we now putting BYU aside? Because it seems like the rest of the teams are relatively ballpark to one another. So the conference season can bring you some joy because unless it's Texas Tech or BYU, and those are two teams who played in it last year, well, those are the two teams who will play it again in this year, and it will be more than just because of the talent on the field. Now, I still think you have to have development, and that's what gives me hope for Utah. Morgan Scalley coming off the Kyle Whittingham tree. They know how to develop talent. They know how to identify and develop. And we'll see about that. The D-News had a story, I think, yesterday. I think Dick Harmon had it, where a bunch of national people talked about development in the Big 12, whose programs were great at identifying and developing talent. So there is some form of purity, I guess, there still. But when it gets to the end, is it going to be the same teams because they spend the big money? But that does not mean your teams do not have a chance. We will talk with Mitch Harper about BYU for the next hour, and then at 9 o'clock we'll switch and we'll do Utah. So stay with us. We got you covered with college football right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.